Hey, my wandering wonders. Today we're going to be doing an Ophichius reading. So, please know that we're going to be using the John Holland Psychic Heart of the Tarot deck, followed by the Tori Heartman Chakra Wisdom Tarot deck for additional insights and awareness with it. Please know if you relate to this information, great. If not, thank you for your time. Dear Universe, please grant us a clear channel of your guidance. Please grant us a clear channel of your guidance from between the sun and the moon to through the star sign of Ophichius and to our 12th house. Please give us a clear channel of your guidance between the sun and the moon and through the star sign of Ophichius and through the 12th house for additional insights and awareness today. Alright, so damn, we are picking up the mat too. I guess we're grabbing everything. So a couple of things to think about. What are we working with this week? How are we flowing through it? Like, what are the things that we're working with this week that we want to take with ourselves? Hold on, one more. What are we working through and how are we working through it? What are the things that we're working with and how are we getting through it? Come on. A little chunk. That's okay. We can work with chunk. Let's see. Alright, so what are we working with flowing through today for Ophichius? Change your focus. Understanding why we're changing our focus. Are we shifting from, is it something that's hazy and we're understanding this experience of haze, and is it us shifting from something to foreground to background type thing? When it comes to our understanding the experience of focus, what are we doing? Is it hazy in the foreground and we need to pay attention to something in the background? Or is it hazy in the background and we just shift our focus into something in the foreground, or foreground food for thought? What are we focused on? Is there a perception of a foreground or a background of it? Is there something that we can shift or tune in or tune out towards? And if so, are we noticing the experience of something being hazy, and is it time to jump ship? Or is this us taking time to understand why we would need to shift our focus to jump ship when we need to be jumping ship? Food for thought. Just when let's take a moment to think about when we have these experiences when we do need to shift focus. Are we seeing the signs to shift focus? Are we understanding our own personal experience of shifting focus and we need to? Or is this a segment of time where it might be hard to see it and may need to jump gears or shift gears? Isn't shifting gears jumping gears? Like, cause you jump from first to, we don't jump from first to third. Never mind. I digress. Let's go ahead and pull additional insights and awareness. Princess of Coins, taking time to understand how we get these things going and understand the experience of getting the balls going, or like we were just saying earlier, like how we're aware of ourselves shifting from, like, understand why we would shift from space A to space B, and starting to see the beginning speckles of actually jumping from A to B, especially when we're understanding experience to have to change our focus. Simultaneously speaking, understanding that experience overall, and think about the foundation of doing so. The experience of that foundational framework of shifting our focus is something that we need to take into consideration when we're working with stuff or working with things, to shift between foreground and background, or shift between this and that, or shift between something bigger to smaller, or shift between something smaller to bigger. Like, your foundational framework of how you go about that is the experience that you need to take time to be aware of. Um, Following that, oh man, it's all experience based, and taking time to understand how these elements come together to pave the way for you, especially when it comes to your pentacles, because you need to pay attention to your pentacles, or like pay attention to your manifestations that you may be working with. Take the time to understand how your physical experience works with that. So if you've always like had an experience where you would move from space A to space B and there'd be like a physical indicator of some sort and they keep going there, take into consideration and take the time to understand and harness that element a lot more, because that element might be a lot more easier to get to when it comes to flowing through what you're flowing through / working through this week. So when it comes to taking time to understand how we shift our focus, take a moment to understand how we start to begin to see these things come into fruition, but also taking time to understand that the experience of this framework that will help us understand how these elements come together, so that when we are aware of all the elements coming together to work on our behalf, we'll understand the framework of this belief that we're putting together to help us register what we're physically doing to have our manifestations come to fruition. So what do we have set up for ourselves when we're trying to shift our focus between space A and space B? And what are small things that we need to do to change our focus in a segment of time when it may seem like there is something to shift to, and or blah 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 blah. What does it seem like? Let's just shift our focus to something else. Maybe when we like run into mistakes or stuff, or maybe there's too many mistakes, it might be a segment of time to just shift our focus into something else. That being said, please note if you relate with this information, great. If not, thank you for your time. Dear universe, thank you for your time today. Peace be with you. Namaste. Thank you for your candor, and have a wonderful day.